Hello everyone, very good morning to all of you and welcome to our starting session of our foundation batch. So in this class we'll start from very basics. So what are the pattern of the examinations, so what are the syllabus of your prelims mains interview of your both OPSC as well as UPSC, and then we are going to see the book list. So once you are having clarity on this subject, so you will be on the focused and you will streamline your preparation, because without knowing the syllabus, so you will end up reading everything. If you know your syllabus, you will streamline your preparations. Okay? So your pattern of examination, if you see, it's comprising of starting with the prelims and then mains and then it is interview. So hope it is audible to everyone. Yes, ठीक है. So एक एक करके हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. So first, the prelim stage is about the screening examination. So the marks you are going to score in the prelims, it is not going to count in your rank. So you have to just clear the cutoff. Okay? If cutoff is 80 marks, so you have to score more than 80 marks. Even if you are scoring 100 marks, this is no use. The moment you clear the cutoff, it is gone. Okay? So next stage of your exam, this prelims is about the MCQ. So here it is the objective type paper. So you have to choose one options out of the 4 options. Okay. Next is about the mains examination. This mains examination is a subjective paper. So you have to write both, in answer format. So you have to write the answer. So this is called subjective paper. So you have to write full pages. So we are going to see detail in depth about that also, and during our foundation class we are going to see some of the answer writing, everything. So next is about your interview. Okay? So this is a screening test. So that means you have to just clear the cutoff, and after that there is no use of prelims. But the mains examination is a real king. So here you have to do the writing of answer, that is called subjective paper. The score you are getting in the mains and the score you are going to get in the interview, they are going to count for your rank. Okay? For that reason, mains examination is the real king. If you are getting good marks in the mains examination, you will get good service, good rank and good posting. So that is the reason students focus more on the mains examination, but prelims examination is one of the toppest examination. Why? I am going to tell you, have little bit of patience. Okay? So next is about the pattern of prelims. So if you see prelims pattern, so it is comprising of 2 papers. So this is valid for your OPSC as well as UPSC. So GS1, it is comprising of 200 marks, and GS2, that is called general study, it is also comprising of 200 marks. Okay, so GS1, this paper, and this is called CSAT, Civil Service Aptitude Test. One by one we are going to see. In GS paper 1, it is containing 100 questions. So in general study paper 1, there are 100 questions and each question is 2 marks. So total is 200 marks. Okay, so total is 200 marks. And the GS paper 2 in your prelims, this is also called as CSAT. इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? Civil Service Aptitude Test. It's comprising of 80 question and each question is 2.5 marks. So this is also 200 marks. And to qualify in this CSAT, so you have to have minimum 33, more than 33%. So that means you have to have score more than 66. So but by seeing into the last couple of years, so they are very tough questions. So I think you should target for at least 100 marks. If you are targeting for 100 marks scoring in the CSAT, so under extreme condition, you will at least get 80 plus marks. And don't worry, I am going to teach you the CSAT, and even if you are from non-mathematical background, having lot of fear in the CSAT, I am going to make it very easy. Okay? So I have seen people with no mathematical background, they love the CSAT after discussing or taking all these classes. Okay? So there will be a penalty, so negative marking. So this objective paper is not free from negative marking. So that means if you are committing one error, so if you are having one error, if you have committed one error, so there will be penalty of 0.66 marks for GS1, that is 1/3 of 2 marks. Okay, and in case of CSAT, this is 1/3 of 2.5. So this marks is 8.33. So if you are committing one wrong answer, there will be deduction of 0.66 and there will be deduction of another 0.833 in case of CSAT. Okay, so You can see general study paper is a qualifying paper with minimum qualifying marks fixed as 33%. So you have to score minimum 66 marks, more than 66 marks, so that your GS paper 1 will be evaluated. So let's give you an example, so you'll have idea about that. So let me give you an example. Let's say the cutoff marks is 80. हमारा cutoff marks कितना है? 80 है, and in GS1 you have scored, let's say 100 marks. So that means 20 marks more than the cutoff, but in CSAT you have scored, let's say 65. So you have not qualified. So you will not qualify the prelims. On the other hand, let's say in GS you have scored 81, 1 mark more than the cutoff, and the CSAT you have scored 67. So here you have cleared the CSAT cutoff as well and GS cutoff as well. So you have cleared the prelims, so you will given an option to write the mains examination. So there should not be any doubt during your preparation. Let's be very clear about the format and pattern of the examination. Once you have this clarity, so you will have good preparation. So the question paper will be set in both English and Hindi. So English in case of UPSC English and Hindi, in case of OPSC ODI and English you will find the paper. Okay, so I am giving you parallel. So in case of prelims examination in OPSC you will get one side English, one side ODI. So I think it's very difficult for you to, those who have not much idea, to study and understand in ODI. So better refer to the English. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So now we are going to see detailed syllabus of the prelims. What are the syllabus that you have to cover? Then question is why we need to know about that? Because you are going to study all this newspaper, you are going to study all this current affair. If you don't know what are the things that is in your prelims, so you will end up reading everything. So students are repeatedly complaining, means that they are studying lot of things, yet they are not able to understand what to read and what not to read. This has happened because you don't have idea what is important from exam, what is important in your exam perspective and what is in your syllabus. If you don't know about the syllabus, you will end up reading whatever coming in the newspaper. देखो, newspaper is not meant for our UPSC, so it's for everyone. So we have to understand the syllabus so that we can extract our content that is important from our exam perspective. ठीक है. So next we are going to see. So first thing that is important from your exam, one thing. One second here, थोड़ा सा बता दीजिए. हाँ. So first one is about the current events of national and international importance, and this is very much important. How you are going to cover this? You can cover that by referring to newspaper, the Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, some of the good channel like Rajya Sabha, that is called Sansad TV. You can refer to their debates. As we proceed, I'll suggest all these things, and this this current event, national, international importance. So here we are covering one important, this is called infographics edition. We are covering there, we are providing the highlighted version of the Hindu, Indian Express and PIB. Generally during my preparation I used to take around during my preparation to complete all this newspaper, I used to take 2 to 2.5 hours just to complete the Hindu. And to ensure that you are getting the good quality of content, what I am going to do, I am revising, I am highlighting the Hindu plus Indian Express plus PIB. Okay, so that is what called infographics edition, so that you can complete that current affair in just 45 minutes. We have designed in a way so that you can complete that in 45 minutes, and it is going to be provided to all of you. This is part of our foundation batch. So the time you are saving, you can utilize for your GS study. Okay, so this is what we are going to provide in the foundation batch as well. Okay, so this is the sources. The next is, and after that, in this daily newspaper, you can also refer to the daily current affair and monthly current affair. That is also we are providing, so that you can build your current affair base. Current affairs should not be studied just before the examination. It should be studied on a daily basis, so that you will have good amount of hello. I am not audible clearly, dear. Am I audible? Good morning, dear. Please message in the chat box. Actually, I am turning off the Okay, very good. I am audible, dear. Please check your mic and all, because it's ऑनलाइन क्लास, so you have to join and this and comment me whether I am audible or not. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Thanks for your comment anyway. चलो. So next is about the history of India and Indian national movement. So here we have to study the history starting from your ancient, then medieval, then modern history. So in-depth knowledge is required because lot of question in your OPSC and UPSC they are focusing on the medieval, ancient and medieval because this area is having gray area. ठीक है, so student generally don't prepare and UPSC ask from there where student having weakness. बोलते हैं ना कि UPSC ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूशन है जहाँ बच्चे थोड़ा वीक होते हैं, उस पर ही मतलब जहाँ बोलते हैं ना जहाँ वीक पॉइंट है उस पर ही प्रहार करता है. सो इसीलिए फॉर दैट रीजन don't ignore the ancient, medieval and modern history. So during your preparation you should put extra effort so that you will come out with bright color. Next is Indian and world geography. So here we are going to see physical, social, economic geography of India and world, and this part I am going to cover, and already I have prepared a very good note. I am having a lot of experience, so you will not have any fear, you will enjoy this geography, and it is my promise after this class you will have clarity of concept and in-depth knowledge, so there will be no fear on these particular things. Next is Indian polity and governance. So here we are going to see constitution, political system, panchayat raj, public policy and right issue. ठीक है. So next is about the economy and social development. So here we are going to see sustainable development, poverty, inclusion. देखो, if you know this particular syllabus, so while you are studying the newspaper, you will focus on that particular area. So that is the reason I am constantly emphasizing refer to the syllabus. I am going to give you in-depth syllabus of inside what are there. So I am going to give you. So please read that syllabus, and then PYQ I am going to share you. So please refer always to that. So that you will have good idea what kind of question they are asking. So next is demography, social sector initiative, etc., etc. General issue on environment, ecology, biodiversity, climate change. So that you can see here that do not require subject specialization. So that means environmental question they are going to ask. So they are very basics. You can say up to 12th level, fair amount of understanding or common sense type की question. You should not go too much of technicality. You should not go too much of technicality in environmental related questions. So that is what they are saying in their syllabus. Next is general science. In general science, what you have to study? You have to study physics, chemistry, biology of up to 10th, not up to 12th, up to 10th. If you are having fair amount of idea, this is the level of question they are generally asked, and but some of the question currently they are asking from the current affair. Current affair means national development. What are the development in space sector, development in the nanotechnology, development in biotechnology, development in supercomputer, development in the quantum computer and science and tech. I am going to teach you, particularly in the current affairs that I am going to teach you, the science or evolve or emerging technology that I am going to teach, and you will have good idea about the science and technology. You will also enjoy that. So next things that second part of your GS is about the CSAT. So here see what are the area from where questions are mostly asked, starting from the reading comprehension. So in reading comprehension they are asking around 30 question. In CSAT total 80 question is there. Out of that 80 question, directly 30 to 33 question you are directly getting from the reading comprehension. So I am going to tell you there are some tricks, there are some way through which you can have 80% accuracy in reading comprehension. So while I was teaching in a particular area students are very weak in mathematics and this reading comprehension. So they constantly told me give us the shortcut. So during that time I have developed that skill of how you can get 80% accuracy in this reading comprehension. Okay, so I am going to tell you. So next is interpersonal skills including communication skills. Here the questions can be like what is compassion. I think OPSC repeatedly asks this kind of question, but UPSC they don't ask this kind of question, but maybe in future they can ask, so we are going to see. So next is logical reasoning and analytical ability. So reasoning part is there, so we have to prepare that as well. So general mental ability, then basic numeracy. So here the quant problem like number system, average, profit, loss, percentage, so they can ask. So next is, here it is given the class 10th level, but believe me in reality the question are very tough, so they are not class 10 level. So this is what the student are saying, if UPSC is mentioning class 10, then question should be on the class 10th level, but they are asking top question. Don't worry, I am here to make this CSAT very easy for all of you. ठीक है, so you will not have any fear of CSAT. ठीक है, if you are having good conceptual clarity, so any question they will ask from there only. ठीक है, they might be modify little bit question, but the concept remain the same. ठीक है, so next is data interpretation. So in data interpretation they can give you a chart, they can give you pie chart, graphs, tables, data sufficiency of class 10th level, so that you know by using this data, so you can get you can able to solve any kind of question. So general study paper 2 is qualifying, you have to score minimum 33% marks. So that means already I have told you, if cutoff, let's say cutoff is 80 marks, ठीक है, so you have to score in your GS1 more than 80, and in GS2, that is your CSAT, you have to always score more than 66 marks, then only you will qualify. If you are not able to score 66 marks in GS2, so you will not able to, let's take the second example. Even if you are scoring, let's say in GS1, even if you are scoring 100 marks in your GS2, if you are scoring only 65, 1 marks less than your cutoff, so this is GS2, so you will not able to clear the prelims. Okay, so that is the reason, don't take the CSAT lightly, because it is ruining the career of so many students. So it's better prepare thoroughly. Okay, so it's mandatory for candidate to appear both the paper of examination. So देखो, if you are sitting GS1 and GS2, then only, and if you are clearing both the cutoff, then only you will be clear the prelims. If you are sitting just one, let's say you have attempted only GS1, in that case your attempt will be counted in UPSC. There will be no attempt in the OPSC, so attempt की तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं है अब तो, you know, बिंदास. ठीक है, so OPSC के पास, you know, there is no attempt in the OPSC, so जो भी चाहिए कर सकते हो. But in UPSC there are 6 attempts for general candidate and age limit is 21 to 32. मैं लिख देता हूँ यहीं, 6 attempt है, 6 attempts है, एंड एज जो है आपका 21 to 32 है. 21 जो एज है आपको 1 अगस्त ऑफ दैट नोटिफिकेशन ईयर में होना चाहिए. उससे पहले आपको 21 ईयर हो जाना चाहिए, देन ओनली यू विल एलिजिबल, एंड योर एज शुड नॉट बी मोर देन 32. दिस इज फॉर जनरल कैटेगरी, एंड रेस्पेक्टिवली यू कैन फॉर OBC इट्स 9 attempt, just increase 3 year. Age is 35 and 9 attempts just modify, you'll get it. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So हाँ, so now we are going to this subject wise strategy, subject wise book list, and how you are going to prepare for that. देखो, why I am discussing all these things? I am discussing all these things because if you know about this strategy, if you know about the syllabus, so by spending just let's say 2 hour or 2.5 hour, you will have fair amount of idea. You know that what to read, what not to read, and daily you will save 2 hour to 3 hour, because the reading newspaper, if you don't know anything, it will end up taking, you know, lot of time, and at the end you will be burn out, you know, they'll feel like, you know, ये मेरे से तो नहीं होगा. बट इफ़ यू स्ट्रीम लाइन योर प्रिपरेशन, जब बोलते हैं ना कि आप लाइट वेट हो जाओगे, आप एकदम मस्त मूव करोगे इफ़ यू नो अबाउट द सिलेबस. सो दैट इज द रीजन, प्लीज नो डिटेल अबाउट सिलेबस. पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, एनवायरमेंट, इकोनॉमिक्स, जनरल साइंस एंड करंट अफेयर, दीज आर द सब्जेक्ट दैट इज गोइंग टू बी विथ यू थ्रू आउट दिस जर्नी. सो आप छोड़ना चाहो तो इसको छोड़ नहीं सकते हो, तो आप इससे प्यार करना सीख जाओ. ये सब्जेक्ट से आप प्यार करना सीख जाओ. इवन इफ यू वांट टू skip the subject will follow you. बोलते हैं ना कि एक भूत है, ये आपको पीछा नहीं छोड़ने वाला है. So it's better start loving this subject. Okay, so starting with the polity generally what you have to study, just a second. Yes, so in polity you will have to study the NCERT class 12th. I will tell you, देखो, in NCERT there are 2 kind of book, so 11th and 12th, so you can read this NCERT, but if you are having fair amount of idea, you know, understanding, then you can directly jump to the Lakshmikant. And anyway, these are the reference book I am giving for your reference, but in our class discussion, and after that we are going to provide you comprehensive PDF, so refer to that only, because it is we are providing this PDF not only referring to this, you know, book, but also the current events that is going on, we are also adding. Before taking the classes, so we used to take, study, we have to compile, we have to modify our content by referring to the, this latest development, referring to the, whatever happening in the Supreme Court judgment, current affairs. So we are providing in detail, and some of the things also we are, it is not possible to write everything in the notes or the study material we are providing. Some additional things we have discussed during our class, so please note down that, and that is going to be very helpful. So कैसे करना है नोट मेकिंग, मैं आपको जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे मैं आपको सब बताऊंगा नोट मेकिंग कैसे करना है, पेपर कैसे पढ़ना है, क्योंकि आई वांट देयर शुड बी वेरी क्लैरिटी ऑन दिस फाउंडेशन कि क्या क्या चीज़ें हमें बहुत एसेंशियली फॉलो करना पड़ेगा, ताकि आपको बाद में ये चीज़ों का हेडेक नहीं रहना चाहिए. ठीक है, एक एक चीज़ें करके करता है लक्ष्मीकांत. एंड क्लास 11th का ये वाला बुक जो है आपका, जो ये बुक है, रुको लेट मी, ये मैंने आपको PDF, द लिंक ऑफ ऑल दिस NCERT आई विल शेयर टू ऑल ऑफ यू, सो यू कैन रेफर टू दैट. सो इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एट वर्क, सो दिस बुक यू हैव टू रेफर. सो नेक्स्ट इज एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री. सो एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री इट इज, so this ancient history you can refer to the class 6th NCERT old, class 6 NCERT new you have to refer, and class 11th NCERT old by R.S. Sharma, class 11th theme in the Indian history part 1. So you can see these two book you have to refer, and fine art NCERT in introductions to Indian art part 1. ठीक है, so this book you have to refer, and Nitin Singhania book. And don't worry, the study material we are going to provide, we will cover everything, so no need to refer, but this is a reference book I am giving. In case of you have any doubt, you can refer to these books. Okay, and our class we are going to start from 7 to 9:30, but today because of some technical issue there is a delay, so don't worry, we will stick to our time. So everyone is comfortable with that time, so आप लोग आ सकते हो ना. I think because of some technical issue I have started, but some of students are not able to join. Okay, my voice is audible everyone, एक बार confirm कर लो. Okay, very good, very good. So next is medieval history. So why we need to study the medieval history? Because nowadays UPSC and OPSC they are repeatedly focusing on the medieval history, because students are generally having weak in this area. So a lot of questions are asking from this area. So you have to study the class 7th NCERT old, class 7th NCERT new, and link of all this NCERT we are going to provide. And one more thing, so in this foundation class, so we are also going to provide you a recorded or live lecture of the NCERT classes also. So we are going to cover all your NCERT, and after that we are providing the summary notes, so that you will get everything starting from NCERT advanced course at single place. So already there is a NCERT course going on, so we will provide that as well. So class 11th NCERT old by Satish Chandra, and class 11th theme in Indian history part 2 also you have to study. I know that lot of books you are seeing, so this PDF I am going to share, so no need to worry about that. Download that, and link is also I am going to share. Then next is modern history. So in this modern history, so you have to study the class 8th NCERT old, class 8th NCERT new. The next is class 12th NCERT old by Vipin Chandra, theme theme part 3. The spectrum book also you can refer to that, and don't worry, in our class the note we are providing, this is more than enough. But after completion of your class, if you want to broaden your knowledge, if you want to revise, and if you want to study that, definitely you can go for spectrum. This is a very good book. देखो question sometime you will get directly, sometime you might not get the question directly, but at least by studying that good book you can eliminate. This cannot be the option, because you might not get the question directly from this book, but at least by studying this book you will have that knowledge to eliminate and get answer correct. ठीक है, so मैं आपको बताता हूँ जितने सारे मेरा अटेम्प्ट है, हर एक अटेम्प्ट में मेरा ऐसा नहीं कि सब कुछ सब नॉलेज है, सबको ऐसे डायरेक्ट कर दिया, नहीं. By studying the current affair, by studying this good book, at least I am having this idea, ये options तो नहीं होने वाला, this option cannot be correct. If you are rejecting 2-3 options, then one is left and this is correct. So this is the way you can call smart or intelligent guess to get the answer. चलो. So next is geography. So for geography, studying NCERT is must, because NCERT is very conceptual book, so you will get a lot of clarity. So you can refer to from class क्लास 6 टू क्लास 12th एनसीईआरटी, ठीक है। तो आप इसको पढ़ सकते हो एंड but if you are having fair amount of idea, good knowledge about the geography, then you can directly refer to the class 11 and class 12th. But in foundation class I am taking your geography, so if you are referring to my class, no need to go anywhere, no need to go any book. I am going to give you a comprehensive book, study material, so that is more than enough for your any examination. So no need to go any book. I'll make sure that the geography is very simple, it is going to cover everything. So देखो मेरा एक आदत है, जब भी मैं कुछ चीज़ बनाता हूँ, okay, so let me fix my mic. Now it is okay. Actually I am moving, so might be because of that. Now it is okay. Okay, so there are books given Gcillion, so no need to go. The map work by Google Earth. देखो there is a application that you need to download or install in your mobile, that is called Google Earth. So whatever may be the location, it can be South China Sea, it can be Indian Ocean, it can be any mountain. So you can just search in Google Earth, you will get the 3D image of that. So Google Earth, Gcillion book also people refer. So I am telling you that the study material and the class that we are going to discuss, they are very comprehensive. I might take some extra classes, I might take some extra time to discuss all these things, but once you are completing the geography, no need to go anywhere. This material is more than enough. I think already yesterday only one student given this message that by studying that note also, it is very helpful to clear your graduation also. Okay? So it's very good material because I have spent so many time to prepare that material. So environment, I think environment, this two book generally people refer, but by referring to this book I have also prepared a good study material. Okay, by referring to this two study material, I have prepared a comprehensive study material. So that is what I am going to provide. So no need to purchase any book. So current affair is very important for your environment because most of the question they are directly inspired from this current affair. Okay, so current affair you have to study properly. So next is about the economy. So economy, generally the NCERT, already NCERT classes is in YouTube. So this class is generally taken by the Abdesh sir. So Indian economy and development, class 11th NCERT. So then macroeconomic, very selectively need to know only few basics, concept and term. In economics, you need to have good clarity of the concept. Once you have clarity of the concept, you can easily get understand anything you are reading. So next is class 12th NCERT macroeconomics है, ठीक है ना. So sometime Sri Ram IS कोई बोलते हैं, then Vivek Singh book is also good. So I'll suggest go for Vivek Singh note. Okay, so I'll go for Vivek Singh book or in our study material we are going to provide you a comprehensive study material, so you can refer to that as well. So next is general science. General science, this is you can say this is more of in prelims perspective. General science means about physics, chemistry, biology. So all these things, this is very much important for your prelims. Okay, so for prelims you can study in depth, but mains they are asking mostly advanced application of supercomputer, quantum computer, space technology, biotechnology. So all these things they are asking. So देखो, like for example, these things you can directly get from the NCERT or the summary material I am going to teach or discuss in the class, that is going to be helpful. But the most of the question they are asking biotechnology, space, nano, defense, supercomputer, quantum computer and other advanced technology. So from there we will focus more on this fact. Okay, we will focus more on the current fact and basics. We just need to understand what are the concept behind, what are the science behind it. Okay, then only we can easily in a limited time we can cover lot of things. Okay, so I think already I have shared good study material of the science and technology in our channel, so I think you can see there. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So current affair. So current affair is very much important in our preparation because most of the question you will get in this directly they are inspired from the current affair. So for current affair, what you have to study? You have to daily refer to the newspaper, the Hindu newspaper, Indian Express. Okay, ठीक है. सो डेली एंड मंथली मैगजीन आई हैव टू रेफर टू दैट, एंड आई नो दैट रीडिंग दिस न्यूज़पेपर माइट टेक लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू हेल्प यू ऑल. So we have started this infographics edition, so that you can join, so you can complete this all this newspaper in just 45 minutes, because here we have highlighted everything, we have compiled everything, and we have put everything, the Indian Express, the Hindu and PIV in 7 to 8 PDF pages, so you can easily revise that, and this is very important for your exam perspective. ठीक है. So next is something that is also very important from your exam perspective. देखो budget. If you are preparing for UPSC, then union budget is very important. So in this budget day, so you have to devote your entire day knowing about budget schemes, because after the March, so whatever the scheme being promised by the government, this is going to be, they are going to implement throughout the year. So once you are having fair amount of idea about the budget, then you can say most of the economical schemes, policies, program will be completed. So have a good, you can say, idea and command and understanding about the announcement in the budget schemes, and same thing you are going to write in your answer also. If you are from giving OPSC, UPSC union budget, if you are giving OPSC, you have to refer to the union budget plus state budget, state government budget. If you are giving state PCS, then you can also refer to your state PCS budget, like what are the announcement, what are the money they have allocated to different sectors. So you need to have fair amount of idea. Okay. So next is economy survey. So economy survey you have to study, because we need to write a good answer, we need lot of facts, we need to provide lot of facts, support argument. For that you need to study the economic survey. And economy survey, there are two economic survey, one economic survey by the union government, one economic survey by your state government. So you have to refer to the both economic survey for good understanding. So India yearbook, very selectively. So this portion we are going to support or provide you the content. So no need to go, this India yearbook is more than 500 pages, sometime 700 or 800 pages. It is not possible for a student to cover. So definitely will help you provide summarized material so that you can revise that very fast. Okay. And so many students have joined just now. Good morning everyone. Sir, Politica क्या लिया? पॉलिटिका मतलब आई एम नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड डियर, क्या पूछ रहे हो बताओ और एक बार. नहीं, आज टुडे एक्चुअली पॉलिटिका, देखो पॉलिटिका आपको एनसीईआरटी पढ़ना है, एनसीईआरटी के बाद आपको लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ना है. फॉर मेंस आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस, दिस इज व्हाट फॉर प्रीलिम्स वी आर डिस्कसिंग. ओके, एक बार वो खत्म हो जाए फिर मैं आपको मेंस के बारे में बता दूंगा क्या पढ़ना है. ओके, सो ये तो हो गया आपका प्रीलिम्स का. सो लेट्स सी अबाउट दी मेंस को आपको क्या पढ़ना है एक बार दिखा देता हूं. थोड़ा एक बार मेंस का आपको आइडिया होना चाहिए. सो वंस यू आर हैविंग दैट क्लैरिटी, सो यू कैन सी अबाउट योर स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर योर मेंस. सो in main examination, so there are paper like starting from your essay. So there is a paper called essay paper. ठीक है. Then next is general study paper 1, general study paper 2, general study paper 3, general study paper 4. What are the syllabus within that, we are going to see one by one after some time. So this is a broad outline. Okay, so after that you have to choose one optional with two paper, that is paper 1. For example, if you have chosen the optional as a history, within that history there will be two paper, history paper 1 and history paper 2. If you have chosen your optional as geography, then geography paper 1 and geography paper 2. This is what the optional. Okay, so next is about your interview. Those who clear the mains, they will given a chance to write your interview, and in UPSC the interview marks is 275, but on your in OPSC the interview marks is 250. ठीक है. So total marks in your UPSC is 2025, but total marks in OPSC is 2000. Okay, so I think it is clear to everyone. If you have I think it's clear to everyone. Then आगे बढ़ते हैं. This is what paper, and within what are there. So we are going to discuss one by one. You can see general study paper 1. So what are the component within this general study paper 1? देखो, lot of students who are writing the mains, they don't have idea what are the things within this general study paper 1. So this is what the problem students are generally having. ठीक है, so मैं आपको बता देता हूँ अच्छे से. चलिए, so first one is about the art and culture. So देखो, different things in your prelims and different things in your mains. So if you don't know what is in your syllabus, so you are end up reading something that is not going to ask in your mains. So please refer to the syllabus very thoroughly. देखो, मैं बोलता हूँ ना, दो चीज़ें आप करोगे ना, so 30% of your preparation is over. First one is current affair, the syllabus and PYQ. If you know thoroughly the syllabus and PYQ, it is not going to take hardly 5, if you are putting 5 minutes daily, so you can complete 30% of your syllabus, because you know what are the question area from they are asking, and you can streamline your preparation. Okay, so art and culture. So next is modern Indian history, world history, India since independence, Indian society, and geography. So these are the 6 area. If you just clove everything, you will get this as a history. History में from where they are going to ask the question in history, they are going to ask question from ancient. There is nothing called ancient here, there is something called art and culture. So here they can ask question from the art and culture of ancient, medieval, modern time, and from modern India. They are very important because modern India is there in your prelims, modern India is there in your main. So while studying modern India, focus more thoroughly, and here you can see in your prelims there is no ancient and no medieval history, but they can ask question from the art and culture of medieval and ancient history. Art and culture means dance, music, temple, painting, all these things they can ask the question. Okay, so next is Indian society. So Indian society, you will get lot of questions, so we are going to see that in detail. Then geography also, I am going to teach you geography. So in geography, definitely you will enjoy. If you are having any fear in geography, not able to understand, so this is going to be things of your past. After that, whatever may be the question in geography, if you are not able to solving, then no one able to solve this kind of question. The book list that you can refer for your art and culture. So you can see Indian culture will be cover the salient aspect of art form. Okay, art form means different like literature, painting, festivals. Okay, so all these things we are going to discuss. Puppets, drama, all these things we are going to see. Then literature. Then next is architecture from ancient to modern times. Generally, this book is good, but it's a quite bulky book. So don't worry. In our foundation class, we are going to give you detailed study material. If you are referring to that, this is more than enough for your examination. Okay. Chalo. So Nitin Singhania book is good enough, so you can refer to that. But you know the book is quite bulky, and you will feel, देखो क्या होती है ना, जब पहली बार you are studying something in first time, so you will not able to understand. यही प्रॉब्लम होगी, बट एक बार आपको समझ में आ जाती है ना टेम्पल में क्या होती है, क्या स्ट्रक्चर है, देन यू विल स्टार्ट एंजॉइंग एनीथिंग. चलो, so next is modern Indian history. Generally people refer to this book. It's a good book. देखो, this is, I'll not say the best book, but it's a good book because everything given in a systematically and structured way. If you are studying NCERT and all, so they are not in a structured and systematic way. They are random stories, but this is given in a systematic and structured way because that is what reduce our effort. So modern Indian history from about middle of 18th century until the present significance events and personality in issue. So mid 18th century, that means you can 750 onwards. It is very important from our exam perspective. Modern Indian history means the moment arrival of the Britisher, or you can say declining of the Mughal Empire. From declining of the Mughal Empire till our independence, everything is important from modern Indian history perspective. So here you have to give focus on the freedom struggles, its various stages, and important contributor and contribution from different parts of the country. Okay, so that is what you have to study, discuss. So we have to see detail about our freedom struggle, contribution stages. So all this movement we are going to study. Movement, like I am going to give an example, like revolt of 1857, Swadeshi movement, then non-cooperation movement, then civil disobedience movement, Quit India movement. So all these things we are going to discuss sequence wise, so you'll get good idea. So world history, generally not much question they are asking, so this is, you should give least priority to this subject because 1 or 2 question they are asking. If you just refer to the some of the idea. So I think you should give list prior to the subject, because 1 or 2 question, but it take a lot of effort of yours. The time you will take this world history, and from India since independence, hardly you will get 1 or 2 question. In that same time you can complete entire ethics with 250 मार्क्स. आप बताओ मुझे 10 मार्क्स आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, 250 मार्क्स आपके लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो इसलिए यू शुड गिव लिस्ट प्रायोरिटी, लिस्ट टाइम टू दिस पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट. ओके, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So things that they can ask is about industrial revolution. You can there can be, question can be from the industrial revolution. What are the reason, consequences, cause, factors for the industrial revolution. Then world wars, you have to study World War I, World War II, why this has happened, and what are the incident happened during World War. Then withdrawal of the national boundary. So after British defeated, so they have to withdraw the boundary. So that is what you have to study, and this question actually repeatedly asked. देखो today lot of problem are there between India and Pakistan. It's because of colonial boundary they have drawn. देखो colonial boundary they have drawn in hasty way. So that is the reason we are having current problem all over the Africa. They are suffering because of withdrawal of the boundary in a hasty way, not in a systematic way. So next is colonization and decolonizations. ठीक है, so this is also very important. So political philosophies like communism, capitalism and socialism, this is also very important. This concept is very important. What does mean by communism, capitalism and socialism? So we have to understand, and there can be some of the essay we have to write on these topics also. So they are forms and different and effect on the societies. Okay? So that is what we are going to see, but anyway we are going to see world history also, but this is least priority. So next is India since independence. So post independence consolidation, so reorganization within the country. देखो after independence it is not that everything is sorted or everything is settled down. So there is a redrawal, you can say integration of all this princely state, then redrawal of Indian states multiple times. So that is what led to the study of the India since independence. Okay, so there is a good video available on the YouTube. It's called Pradhan Mantri. Okay, so this is what this is basically talks about the post independence. Okay, this Pradhan Mantri, I think there is an episode available on the YouTube, so you can get it, or if you are not getting, tell me, I'll share the link. From there you can watch India since independence. But generally generally people avoid this portion and world history because it is taking a lot of time, not giving much return. Okay, but Indian society is very important, because generally people believe that society and social justice, you will get around 15 question. Social justice is in GS paper 2, society in GS 1. If you club them both, so you will get 15 question, and in essay they are very important. So don't ignore, it is very easy to score good marks. So here we are going to silent feature of Indian society. So what are the unique feature of Indian society and diversity of India? So role of women and women organization, population and associated issue, poverty developmental issue, urbanization and their problems and their remedies. Okay, so effect of globalization on Indian society. I think this question you have seen multiple times. So directly they are asking. So social empowerment, then communalism, regionalism, secularism. So also this kind of question they are asking repeatedly. So we are going to see in depth about society. So don't ignore the society. Okay. Next is my favorite, geography. So silent feature of world physical geography, distribution of key natural resources. देखो in geography the questions are basically focusing on economic aspect like industrial location, minerals. So they are asking this kind of question, so you have to study. So distribution of key natural resources across the world, South Asia, then Indian subcontinent, factors responsible for location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industry in various part of the world including India. So this is what the location of important industry. But nowadays you know that the traditional minerals lost their significance. Now new minerals like significance of lithium, significance of rare earth minerals is rising. So you have to study that. You have to understand which country is having a significant role in the lithium. So this is called lithium triangle. This is, I have given the name ABC: Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. Okay? These are three South American country. They are rich in lithium, and lithium is driving our battery, and battery is very much essential for रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, चाहे आप कुछ भी करो बैटरी की जरूरत पड़ेगी, एंड फॉर दैट यू नीड लिथियम, एंड द कंट्री दैट इज हैविंग कंट्रोलिंग लिथियम दे कंट्रोल द वर्ल्ड. सो लिथियम इज कॉल्ड न्यू गोल्ड, न्यू ऑयल. ओके, so next is geography, important geography, geophysical events like earthquake. So here we are going to see what are the reason for earthquake, consequences, what are the factors, whether it is able to predict earthquake or not. Then tsunami, I think you know, the Japan. So there are a lot of movie. I think there is a movie 2012. So there everyone is saying that world is going to be end in 2012. So मेरा दादी ने भी फोन करके बोले कि अब तो खत्म होने वाला है, तो लेकिन कुछ नहीं हुआ. चलो, तो नेक्स्ट इज volcanic activity. We are going to see cyclones. So this is what happened repeatedly in Odisha coast. So we are going to see that. So next is a geographical feature and their location changing in critical geological features. For example, water bodies. So all these things like ice caps, landslides. So all these things we are going to see. This is very much important from the perspective of disaster management. Okay. This PDF I am going to share you so that you will get fair amount of idea. So this is all about GS paper 1. By seeing that, I can tell you from your mains perspective, 3 poles, 3 papers, 3 subjects are very important. So first one is modern history. So you should modern history. Second one is geography, and third one is society. So if you are studying this 3 paper thoroughly, you will get around 18 question directly. If you are doing excellent in this 18 question, so 2 question आपको कभी कभार तो 19-20 question directly asking from this 3. I think 2 to 3 question they are asking some question from the art and culture, and some of this question from the world geography. But these 3 things, if you want to score good marks in your GS1, you have to focus on these 3 things: geography, society and modern history. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So now it is GS paper 2. So student always think that in GS paper 2 of your mains it's only about polity and constitution. You are wrong. So in GS paper 2 of your mains it is polity and constitution plus governance plus social justice plus international relation. क्या क्या है इसके अंदर हम थोड़े टाइम के बाद जब हम पढ़ेंगे. First, before starting any discussion, we are going to have in-depth discussion about the syllabus of particular area, what we are going to discuss. We will do that, so we'll have good amount of idea. But from your perspective, let's have an idea about what are the things that going to be in your GS paper 2. So polity में this polity and constitution you will directly get from your Lakshmikant. Everything you get from Lakshmikant. For example, Indian Constitution, the historical underpinning, evolution, features, amendment and significance, provision and basic structure. So this is what you can directly get from Lakshmikant. Then functions and responsibility of union, state, issue and challenges pertaining to federal structure, devolution of power and finance to the local level and challenges therein, separation of power between various organs. देखो, this separation of power is also very important, dispute redressal mechanism and institutions. So these are the things you can directly get from the Lakshmikant. If you see the content of the Lakshmikant, you can directly get all these things. The next is comparison of Indian Constitution with that of the other country. You will not get from the Lakshmikant this portion. Don't worry, we are going to provide support and study material for that. So parliament and state legislative structure, functions, conduct of the business, power, privilege, all these things you will get from the Lakshmikant. ठीक है. Structure, organization and functioning of executive and judiciary you can get from the Lakshmikant, but little bit of value addition is required. So all these things we will provide in our study material. So no need to go anywhere, even if Lakshmikant is not required, but for your reference, if you want to add value, then definitely you can go for Lakshmikant. ठीक है. So appointment to the various constitutional post, power and functioning like Comptroller, Auditor General of India, Election Commission of India, you have to study it properly. So statutory, regulatory and various quasi judicial body, so you have to study. So ministry and department of government. ठीक है. So different ministry and department of government generally you will all find from the Lakshmikant. This is portion of the governance that we are going to provide you. Next is governance. Generally what people generally not get good material from the governance, but generally I know the ethics portion, I am taking the ethics portion. So generally while preparing, teaching the ethics, I'll try to cover all this governance aspect also. It might take some time, so the governance portion of the ethics and governance portion of the polity I club together, so that student will not spend much time. Okay, so here you can see the pressure group and formal informal association and their role in the polity. Okay, informal pressure group and formal informal group. Then salient feature of Representation of People Act. So all this election related laws, how election is conducted, what giving the power for conduction of election, how election is conducted in case of dispute, what are the mechanism available. So all these things is part of the Representation of People Act. There is two act, 1950 and 1951. So we are going to see that it is not going to, some of the things are available in Lakshmikant, rest we are going to see. I'll provide you notes. Then government policies and intervention for development of various sector issue arising out of the design and implementation. Here it is current West. So you have to find the different policies like Jan Dhan Yojana, then policies for the elderly, all these things you have to study properly, and you have to analyze what are the weakness in these schemes and suggest some solution. So this is very dynamic portion, so you need to have current affair. So I think someday back one of student asked me repeatedly, sir मेरे को तो हो नहीं रहा, लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ने के बाद हो नहीं रहा है, कैसे होगा? लक्ष्मीकांत is one part, there are 3 parts, additional 3 parts are there in the GS paper 2. ठीक है, so that should be clarity, then only you will have good understanding or marks in the mains examination. Development process and the development industry, role of NGO, you can see there is a direct in your syllabus, what are the role of NGOs, self-help group and various group, association, donors, charity, institution and other stakeholder. So important aspect of governance like transparency, RTI Act, transparency, accountability, e-governance, application, okay, mode, success, limitation and potential. Next is citizen charter, transparency and accountability and institutional and other measures. So you can see role of civil service in the democracy. जिसकी आप preparation कर रहे हो उसका role ही पूछा है. You are preparing for civil service, or they are asking what are the role and responsibility of civil servant or civil service, कि उनको जरूरत है नहीं है, उनको जानना चाह रहे हैं. So you should know about the role and responsibility. Okay, so generally whatever this governance portion, whenever I am covering the ethics, I used to cover there, so that there will be no dual coverage or duplications. Okay, so in ethics portion I used to cover that. So next is welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by center, state and performance of these schemes. So this is what you have to study mechanism. देखो all these government schemes, and for example there can be question on the Manrega, whether it is benefit, challenges, criticism. So multiple question have been asked. So whatever given in the budget, so they are very important from your exam perspective. Okay, so next is performance of this scheme. So next is mechanism, law and institution bodies constituted for protection and betterment of vulnerable section of society. For example, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. So these are the constitutional bodies established. National Commission on Women, National Commission on Children. So these are the bodies for protection of vulnerable section of Indian society. So I am going to tell you as we proceed, so how you can find the points also. So issue related to development and management of social sector, service related to health, education and human resource. So this is very important. Health means all these things related to health, education, human resource. So this question are, this question are very easy, but students have not prepared. So because of that, they are not able to write good answer. So issue related to poverty and hunger. So issue related to poverty and hunger you have to study. So like different type of poverty, how, reason for the poverty, how we are going to tackle the poverty and hunger. Also there is a dichotomy in India. On the one hand we are having largest producer of, on the one hand we are the largest producer of the food grain, we are exporting the food grain, but on the other hand we are top on the hunger list. So this is what we can say, on the one hand largest producer, on the other hand largest people who are on the hunger. So next is India. This is what called international relation. In international relation what we are going to study, India and its neighborhood relation. देखो, if question is about our neighborhood, so any news related to our neighborhood happening in the neighborhood, it's very important for us. if anything happen in the Nepal, Bhutan, so there will be significant implication for India. For that reason, we have to refer to it. Next is bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreement involving India affecting India's interest. So all this agreement, so you have to study that thoroughly. Okay? So next is effect of policies and politics of development and developing countries on India's interest and Indian diaspora. देखो some of the policies, for example Donald Trump tariff policies, war and another policy, any country they are implementing any policy definitely have implication on India, because we are living in a globalized village. So if some action are taken by one country, definitely have implication on other. So that is what we have to study, what are the implications. For example, if there is let's say there is a COVID, like some virus is spreading in a particular country, so because of that there might be some restriction, so that is going to hamper our trade and commerce. So if any war happen, let's say Israel Iran war, so because of our diaspora is also suffering now, because India is getting large amount of money from our diaspora. If they are suffering, will not get money now. So important international institution, agencies and fora, their structure and mandates. For example, WTO, World Health Organization, then World Bank, IMF. So under which treaty they have formed, what are their significance, role, responsibility, all these questions they can ask. So here we are going to study all these things. If you don't know about the syllabus of that, so you will keep on reading everything, whatever coming in the news. So instead of spending 30 minutes, you will end up spending 30 hours to study all these things. So don't commit this blunder. Refer to the syllabus thoroughly. So you will get fair amount of idea कि we will have to give more importance to our neighborhood. ठीक है? So next is, this is all about the GS paper 2. So once again I am giving a summary of what are the things in GS paper 2. I am writing here. So GS paper 2 will get the polity and constitution. Then next is social justice, governance is there. Then next is governance. Then next is IR, international relations. These four things is part of your GS2. But students generally think that only Lakshmikant, the polity and constitution are in the GS2. No, this is not the case. Okay. So next in GS paper 3. So there are multiple things, so that you have to study. So first one is economics. Generally students think that in GS3 economics there. No, economics not there. Economics only you will get around 40% priority. So economic development. So here mostly you have to focus on budget, economy survey and current development, and the questions they are going to ask we are going to see. So next is science and technology, development, biodiversity and environment, security and disaster management. So you can say that GS paper 3, the paper are like economic, then science and technology, environment and biodiversity, then security, internal security and disaster management. Most of the question they are asking from here. Okay, so internally what are the things in the economic development? Dekho, mains syllabus of your economics completely different from your prelim syllabus of your economics. So please study that properly. Indian economics and issue related to planning. So what are the issue that we are having related to planning and resource mobilization? Planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. So these are the keywords that is given. So on that basis you have to prepare and you have to study the current affair and make your notes. Okay. So next is issue growth and inclusive growth. So this is very important. This inclusive growth, each and every year you will get question directly in your, both OPSC as well as UPSC. So inclusive growth is very important. Then issue arising from it. So why we are not able to achieve the inclusive growth? Inclusive growth means growth that help everyone should grow. For example, if India is growing 6%, then our village also need to be grow more than 6%. Our scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, our women, children need to be benefit from that. If everyone is benefiting from the developmental process, then we can say inclusive growth. Okay. So next is government budgeting. You can see it is clearly mentioned in the economy. For that reason, reading budget is very important. And don't worry, now digital board is there. So budget economy survey we will do live here. So you need to join. Okay. So measure crops and cropping pattern in various part of country. Dekho, in economy, cropping pattern, agriculture policy, subsidy, they are very important. Don't ignore it. Okay. So different type of irrigation and irrigation system. ठीक है, different type of irrigation. ठीक है, this is very important, like different irrigation system we followed, what are their challenges and what are the way forward. The system of storage, transportation, marketing of agricultural produce and issue and related constraint, e-technology in the ad of the farmer. So these are the agricultural aspects, so you have to study thoroughly. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. So next is economic development. So here you can see issue. So issue related to direct and indirect farm subsidy. So I think you all know about its subsidy, farm subsidy. My screen is visible ना everyone? My screen is visible, कोई issue नहीं है. My screen is visible ना, मतलब दिख रहा है, कोई issue तो बता दो. लाइव तो डिजिटल बोर्ड से आई थिंक 2-3 दिन हुआ है किए हैं, तो जो भी इशू आ रहा है एक बार बता दो, शॉर्टिंग कर लेंगे. ठीक है, तो इशू रिलेटेड टू डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट फार्म सब्सिडी, minimum support price. I think you know about MSP, and this is what clearly mentioned in your syllabus. So whenever you are getting this news, so you have to study. Then public distribution system, objective, functioning and limitation. So public distribution, the PDS soft and the ration you are getting, you have to study about them, you have to understand about them. Okay, so revamping of PDS, issue of buffer stock. The next is food security, technology mission, economic, animal rearing. So economics of animal rearing. So how animal rearing is very much beneficial for our country, that is what you have to study. So food processing and related industry in India, scope, significance, location, upstreaming, downstreaming requirement. So that means food processing industry is very much important, because we are largest producer of agricultural crop, foods, food grains, vegetables and lot of things, but because of spoilage and wastage, 1/3 of our produce is wasted. So if we can process that food, so we can increase the food or reduce the malnutrition in India. For that reason, the food processing industry is very much important from perspective of OPSC as well as UPSC. Okay, so next is economic development. You have to study about the land reform. ठीक है, so land reform, what are the land reform, challenges of land reform, why we are not able to achieve the land reform successfully. So next is effects of liberalization on economy. That means after our opening of our economy, so what are the effects we have to study on the economy, changing in the industrial policy and their effects on the industry growth. ठीक है, infrastructure, here we are going to see energy, ports, road, airport, railway, etc. That means everything that is coming part of the infrastructure we have to study. Next is investment model. So there are different investment model, so we have to study that as well. So if you know about the syllabus, so whenever you are referring to the current affair or paper, so you can streamline your preparation. Then science and technology. Basically in science and technology, questions they are asking, they are mostly from the current affair, current development or something happen in the current affair they are asking. So dear students, just give me 1 minute. Actually मैं थोड़ा सा पानी लेके आ जाता हूँ, थोड़ा सा सेट नहीं हुआ है, बस 1 मिनट दे दो, मैं आता हूँ. So next is about the science and technology. You can see development and their application. Science and technology, development, their application and effect in everyday life. So whenever you are studying anything, it can be space technology, it can be nuclear technology, what are their application in everyday life. So you have to discuss that, how space technology is helping the common man, how defense related technology is helping the common man. I am giving an example. So during our COVID-19, so when we need ventilator, oxygen that can provide oxygen, so one of the technology that we use in our Tejas, it's called onboard oxygen generator. So it generates oxygen itself, so without having any support. Same technology of our defense industry is used to manufacture ventilator. So that means by spending money on the space defense, there is a spin-off application in civilian application. Okay, so achievement of Indian in science and technology. For example, if anything happen, good thing, for example, Mars orbiter mission, we have sent our Chandrayaan and we are planning to send our Gaganyaan, that is International Space Station, Antrikshyan, we are planning to set there. So all these things are important from your exam perspective. So indigenization of technology and development in new technology. If anything happen that is being developed, then we have to study very thoroughly. If any good chips, some semiconductor, some good development is there, so you definitely need to study that. So awareness in the field of IT, so we have to study about information technology, space, computer, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issue relating to intellectual property rights. So all these things you have to have good amount of idea, because question can directly ask from this area. So this is all about the science and technology. Next is about biodiversity and environment. So here you have to study about the conservation, how we are going to conserve our national parks, biodiversity, wildlife and species. Then next is environmental pollution and degradation. So all this pollution, it can be air pollution, it can be water pollution, it can be any pollution, you have to study, and degradation of environmental impact assessment. Then we have to study about the environmental impact assessment. We have to study how the project is going to impact the project before starting of anything. For example, if you want to establish a nuclear power plant, so before that there is a good environment, so may nuclear power plant impact the local environment, so we have to study how it is impacting, then only we can take the corrective measure. So that is what called environmental impact assessment. This we call this is a EIA, environmental impact assessment. Okay. So next is internal security. So a linkage between development and the spread of extremism. So how underdevelopment is reason for spreading extremism or terrorism. For example, why extremism is located in northeast, why extremism is in backward area, because development is the root. If people are not having good development, people are not having employment, so they will involve in antisocial element. Okay, so role of external state and non-state actor in creating challenges to internal security. Okay, so that means role of state, that means for example here Pakistan. Non-state means some of the terrorist organization, they are creating challenges to the internal security, like left-wing extremism is non-state actor. So challenges to the internal security through communication network, role of media and social networking site. Okay, internal security challenges, basics of cyber security, money laundering and its prevention. So all these things we are going to see. Money laundering, what are these components, then role of media. So I think you know that media, how they sensationalize, and role of social media is also equally important. Social media, they are like an echo chamber, so they are spreading the fake news also. So sometime, you know, during our Operation Sindoor, you have seen that how the fake news created different news narratives, so that may demoralize our armed forces. So this 21st century, it is called information, you can say the war at the information level. So if you disseminate information in different level, so you will have operage. So next is security challenges and their management in border area, linkages of organized crime with terrorism. So we have to study about the linkages of organized crime with terrorism and how we are going to manage our border area very good way. So various security forces and agencies and their mandates, so that we are going to see. For example, different security forces like BSF, like Central Armed Police Force, CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force, then ITBP, Indo-Tibet. So there are different forces like SSP, Sashastra Seema Bal, ITBP, BSF, Border Security Force. Okay, so there are different forces we are going to see, and their mandate, मतलब क्या वो काम करने के लिए है, क्या उनका responsibility है, वो सब हम पढ़ेंगे. So next is about your GS paper 4 ethics. So here we are going to see ethics, integrity, aptitude and its case study. So what are inside this syllabus? Let's see that. So this paper will include, you can see this paper will include the question to test the candidate aptitude, approach to the issue related to integrity, probity in the field and public life, and his problem solving approach to various issues. and conflict faced by him in dealing with society. So whenever you will appointed as a civil servant and you will function as a IAS officer, so lot of challenges you are going to face in the field level. So what kind of challenges you are going to face and how you are taking decision, they are going to test in the ethics paper. Okay, so there will be case study. In this case study they will ask you if this is happen, how we are going to solve that. Okay, so ethics and human interface. So here we are going to see about the essence of the ethics. हम ethics को क्यों जरूरी है. The next is determinant and consequences of ethics in human actions. Dimension of ethics, ethics in public private relationship. Then human value, lessons from lives and teachings of great leader, reformer and administrator, role of family, society and educational institute in inculcating values. Okay, so this is what the part of the values we are going to see. Next is attitude. So attitude means content, structure and functions, it influence and relation with thought, behavior. So moral and political attitude, social influence and persuasion. So you can see these are very psychological part. So you need to have good understanding, but ethics is not that difficult, quite easy subject, but not understanding that makes very difficult. So generally the people refer to the lexicon book, but the notes that I am going to provide, ethics generally, ethics is my subject. I generally teach the ethics in the classes. Ethics, CSAT, geography, environment. Generally I take all my classes. So I am going to take all your classes in ethics. So it is not going to be difficult for you. You will enjoy that. So next is aptitude. Attitude is different from the aptitude. Aptitude means your skill. आपने कभी बोलते हैं ना कि तुम्हारे पास यही स्किल है, तुम बहुत अच्छी कर सकते हो, बोलते ना कि तुम सिविल सर्वेंट के बनने के लायक हो. सो दैट मीन्स दैट पर्सन इज हैविंग दैट एप्टीट्यूड टू ऑफ ए सिविल सर्वेंट. एप्टीट्यूड एंड फाउंडेशनल वैल्यू फॉर सिविल सर्विस. इंटेग्रिटी, इम्पार्शियलिटी, नॉन पार्टिशनशिप, ऑब्जेक्टिविटी, डेडिकेशन टू पब्लिक सर्विस, एम्पैथी, टॉलरेंस, कंपैशन टुवर्ड्स weaker section. So that means we not only require the aptitude, that means skill to be a good civil servant, we also need to have foundational value. If you don't have the value, then we cannot expect good behavior. Next is emotional intelligence. So our civil servant need to be very emotional intelligence. So that means even if something happen wrong to them, they should balance, they should not be breakdown. आप सोचो ना, मेरा एक फ्रेंड थी, वो बड़े अच्छे बात बोलते थे कि जब आग लगी हुई है डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट भाग रहे पानी लेके फेंकने में. This is not going to be happen. If something big incident happen, let's say there is a disaster happens, thousands of people died in that accident. If DM is shattered, not able to have that emotional balance, in that case there will be severe consequences. So you have to have good balance of mind. You have to have emotionally stable. Then only you can take good decision. Okay, so emotional intelligence concept and their utilities in application in administration and governance. The contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world. So here we are going to see the philosophical aspect, like different thinker from Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, then Raja Ramamohan Rai from India, from world, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Immanuel Kant. So बहुत सारे philosopher होते हैं, उनके बारे में देखेंगे और पढ़ेंगे उसका. Okay, चलो. So next is about the public or civil service value and ethics in public administration. So status, problem, social concern and dilemmas in government and private institution, law, rules, regulation and conscience, source of ethical guidance. ठीक है. Next is accountability, ethical governance, strengthening of ethical and moral values in governance, ethical issue in international relation and funding and corporate governance. So this is the portion that we are going to see in the ethics also. The next is probity in governance. Probity in governance, the concept of public service, philosophical basis of governance and probity, information sharing and transparency in government, right to information, code of ethics, code of conduct, citizen charter, work culture, क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विस डिलीवरी, यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ पब्लिक फंड्स एंड चैलेंजेस ऑफ करप्शन. सब हम एक एक करके बड़े अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे जब हम क्लास लेंगे. सो अभी मैं ज़्यादा नहीं बता रहा हूँ बिकॉज अदरवाइज दिस सेशन विल बी वेरी लॉन्ग. सो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ नॉलेज इन द स्टैटिक पेपर देयर विल बी केस स्टडी. केस स्टडी मीन्स आप DM हो, आप बैठे हुए हो तो क्या करोगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको एक छोटा सा केस स्टडी देती हूँ. Let's say you are the DM of a particular district and that district is known for its severe disaster and आपके पास जो कैपेबिलिटी है, आप एक साथ में 10,000 बच्चे को, 10,000 लोग को मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट प्रोवाइड कर सकते हो, मैक्सिमम कैपेसिटी ऑफ योर्स, एंड इन केस यू कैन नॉट इवन प्रोवाइड द 10,000, मैक्सिमम कैपेसिटी की बात कर रहा हूँ। बट एक डिजास्टर हुआ है जहाँ पर 1,00,000 लोग सीवियरली इंजर्ड हो चुके हैं, वहाँ पर आप क्या करोगे? क्योंकि आपके पास तो मैक्सिमम कैपेबिलिटी 10,000 है। इन दैट केस व्हाट काइंड ऑफ एक्शन यू आर गोइंग टू टेक? राइट दैट क्वेश्चन, टेल मी, लेट मी सी इन मे बी इन व्हाट्सअप और यू कैन डायरेक्टली मैसेज मी। सो आप क्या करोगे इस समय? आपके पास जो कैपेबिलिटी है एट ए गिवन टाइम, आप 10,000 लोग को ट्रीट कर सकते हो, बट 1,00,000 लोग सीवियरली इंजर्ड हो चुके हैं, तो कैसे आप उसको मैनेज करोगे? देखो, डिस्ट्रिक्ट आप ये नहीं मत बोलना कि मैं वहाँ से ले लूँगा, यहाँ से ले लूँगा। ये सीवियरली डिजास्टर हुआ है, साइक्लोन हुआ है, फ्लड हुआ है, सो यू आर कंप्लीटली कट ऑफ विथ रेस्ट ऑफ दी पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड। तो आपको 5-6 दिन तक कोई मदद नहीं मिलने वाला है, अकेले हो, तो क्या करोगे? सो दिस इज व्हाट रियल डिसीजन मेकिंग इन्वॉल्व। व्हेन यू नो लाइफ इन्वॉल्व इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, नो दैट योर डिसीजन इज गोइंग टू कॉस्ट समवन लाइफ, so some of people life, so there you will have to be very careful, so you have to be very careful there. So this kind of case study they will ask and you have to take decision, you have to justify that, and we'll see how you are going to write that. Okay, yes, this is all about your syllabus of your UPSC prelims as well as mains. So in addition to that, I just want to show you some of the additional things that is in your OPSC mains and prelims syllabus. So OPSC prelim syllabus is same as that of UPSC syllabus, but some of additional thing in main syllabus you will find. Just give me some time. Yes, so you can see same as the UPSC syllabus, for example Indian heritage, culture, but here you have to add the Odisha heritage and Odisha culture. Here same the history, geography of world and society, plus we have to add some of the history, geography of Odisha as well. You can see, if you see about the syllabus, so the heritage and culture, the Indian culture covering salient aspect from art form, literature, architecture from ancient to modern times, and temple architecture of Odisha. So you can see some of the additional things whatever in the UPSC plus Odisha specific content is there. So temple architecture. So next is socio-cultural development in Odisha, so you have to prepare. Next is about Bhakti movement in Odisha and its impact on society of Odisha. So Bhakti movement of Odisha and its impact on the society of Odisha. So next is evolution and growth of Odia language, literature and development of Odia literature. Okay, so this is what also very much important, you have to prepare. In addition, this is for Odisha specific, so we'll have separate class for Odisha specific content. There we'll teach all this extra Odisha specific content. Okay, so next is about the regional tradition of Odisha. So that means all this fair, festival of Odisha we are going to see. Next you can see modern history. So everything same as in the UPSC, but some of the things that is unique to Odisha, for example Kalinga war and significance, dynasty history of Odisha like Mahamegavaran, Bahana Kharagada and Bahumakara dynasty, Somavanshi, Gangas and Gajapatis. So early resistance movement in Odisha like Paikar rebellion, Bir Surendra Sai and revolt of 1857. Then creation of Odisha provinces. So next is freedom movement, Prajamandal movement of Odisha, social base of Odia nationalism and integration of French state in Odisha, social reform and movement in Odisha. So these are the additional things that you have to study from Odisha perspective. So geography of India with special reference to the Odisha. So all this geography as it is, with in addition to that you have to study about Odisha natural resources, forest and minerals, Odisha physiography and river system, so that you have to study. So next is about the society. So you can see salient feature of society of India and society of Odisha. So that means whatever you are studying from the perspective of India, you have to add from the perspective of Odisha as well. So role of women, women organization, population associated issue, poverty, developmental issue, urbanization, same thing as in UPSC, but you can see effect of globalization on Indian society as a whole and Odisha. So both things you have to write. Next is distribution and growth of tribal population in Odisha. So here the urbanization, growth of urban population and urban center in Odisha also. So whatever the topics you are studying from the Indian perspective, so you have to add the Odisha perspective also. So next is GS paper 2. You can see all the things same as in the normal in the UPSC syllabus. So there are some additional things you can see. Odisha Right to Public Service Act and Odisha Lokayukta Act. Additional this portion. The next is, yes, Panchayat Raj Institution of Odisha. So whatever this Odisha specific, that unique things that we are going to discuss in the Odisha specific content. Okay. So next is about the social justice. You can see social justice, whenever you are referring to something, government policies, intervention in development of various sector, issue arising of their design, implementation, both in Indian perspective and the scheme of Odisha, we are going to see. So next is a developmental process and development of industries. So here you can also refer to the Odisha specific but not given. Okay. So welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of population states with special reference to the Odisha. Issue related to development, management of social sector, human resource with special reference to the Odisha. You can see that means whatever given syllabus in UPSC, you just need to add a reference to the Odisha specific content. Okay. And science and technology, whatever in UPSC syllabus, same here also. Then economic development, you have to study the budget of India as well as budget of Odisha. So land reform, whenever you are studying about land reform, you have studied about reform in India, also land reform in the Odisha. Okay, so effect of liberalization on economy, policy. Then whenever you are talking about the infrastructure, not only you talk about infrastructure from the Indian perspective, but also from the perspective of Odisha. So what are the infrastructure, like the energy infrastructure, road, rail, airport, railway. So you have to talk about from the Odisha perspective. Then industrialization in Odisha, issue and prospect. That means what are the challenges we are facing in industrialization of Odisha. Prospect means what are the future of industrialization in Odisha. पानी थोड़ा पी लेते हैं. सब बढ़िया ना? Some like everything is good. सर पॉलिटी के लिए क्या लिए, फिर से बता दीजिए एक बार. ठीक है ना, सब आवाज आ रहा है, सब कोई इशू नहीं है ना, ऑल गुड ना. चलो. So next in industry, you can see the agriculture. So agriculture, whatever you have studied about, the major cropping pattern, various part of the country, different type of irrigation system, storage, transport, marketing of agricultural produce, related constant e-technology from the perspective of India and perspective of Odisha. So we have to cover that. Okay. So issue related to direct and indirect farm subsidy, minimum support price, PDS, everything we have to study from Odisha perspective. So not only from Indian perspective, from Odisha perspective. Food processing industry, issue related to Odisha also. Okay. So next is biodiversity and environment. So this is also very important. So you can see biodiversity. You can see here the conservation, environment, pollution, degradation, environmental impact assessment, disaster management is there. So here we have to add the Odisha perspective things. And in security, some of the unique problems that Odisha is facing, so we have to study that. Challenges to the internal security through communication network, all these things that same as UPSC, but that is very unique is Odisha, like different security forces and their mandate of Odisha. For example, one security forces that is used for disaster management, there is one for that is called Odisha Disaster Response Force. Okay? Then OSG, Odisha Special Group, they are a pioneer in Naxal, fighting the anti-Naxal movement. So all this unique thing that we are going to study. And here the ethics syllabus is almost same, but here whenever you are writing in OPSC, we need to give some examples from the Odisha, we need to give some example from India, we need to give some example from the world level. So we have to give some reference to the Odisha level. So that is what the syllabus for your mains. And in UPSC interview is 275 and the OPSC interview is 250 marks. Okay, so that means almost same syllabus. There are little bit of difference in the OPSC mains GS2. There is no IR. OPSC GS2 there is no IR. No international relation, but UPSC there is international relation. But here what OPSC is adding, interstate relation. Interstate relation. that means Odisha having relationship with its neighbor country. Okay, so this is the little bit of modification in the syllabus. Apart from that, it is almost same, and the additional things will provide good quality content and have separate class to cover that. Okay, so this is all about the syllabus structure, and the book list I have already told you. So from tomorrow onward, so after this feedback that you will give, so we'll start our class from 7 a.m. in the morning to 9:30. So tomorrow onward we'll start Indian the geography portion. So because geography is I think little bit of interesting, so I'll start from there. So first from the geomorphology and the physical geography, then the world geography, then Indian geography we'll discuss. Okay, so now it is the comment is open to you, so you can give me comment about any, if you want anything. The comment box is open for you. Yes, whatever may be your doubt, feedback, you can give to me. चलो कोई नहीं, कल मैं आपको नोट मेकिंग के बारे में बता दूंगा, डोंट वरी. टुमारो क्लास आई विल स्टार्ट विथ नोट मेकिंग. ठीक है, टुमारो क्लास आई विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द नोट मेकिंग. एनी अदर फीडबैक? ओके, थैंक यू Jagu for your message. Definitely I also love to have this session, I have this multiple session, because you know you all are source of inspiration for me. जब आप feedback देते हो मुझे भी बड़े खुश होती है. Definitely I will bring. Okay, ठीक है, then I think we'll have to end our class here. So I'm really sorry starting because of some glitches, so our session is not continue, but from now onward we'll continue. I think Saturday Sunday our foundation class will be not there, maybe there, so I'll inform you, but rest 5 days there will be regular. Maybe Sunday one day we'll take break, because you know we need also rest. So rest 5 days or else we'll continue, but sometime if we need, maybe Saturday Sunday we'll have break, rest will continue. And in this you know before your examination we'll cover your entire subject. And देखो, one thing that I can promise to all of you, quality I'm not going to compromise. If you study my class, if you study my notes, so it is my guarantee that when students are suffering, you will not face any kind of problem. Recording session, this recording session will be available in our application, and YouTube also we are going to upload. ठीक है dear student, चलिए bye bye, we'll have to end here. So in case you want to connect with me, you can directly message me in my number 7217630385. So this is starting of our foundation batch, so we'll continue. ठीक है, our class time is starting from 7 to 9:30, so there might be some modification in time, so I'll inform you, so be ready for that. चलो dear student, bye bye, take care, जय हिंद.